Hi everyone, it's Martin Doyle here, writer-director, and thank you for joining me on my first video production diary for my feature film, The Next Way. I've actually been working on this feature film for a very long time. I've gone through a whole process of going through the idea and writing beat sheets and writing a synopsis and treatments. And I've also written a rough draft. And I've written two versions of the rough draft. I'm in my third, and at the end of this third one, I'm going to declare my first draft of this feature film is finished. I've started these video production diaries much later in the process because obviously it's very important that I just kind of get the film done, and I want these diary entries to be continuous. This is for people who are going through the same thing, who want to produce their own film, making specific decisions for their film, because we all got to learn the ins and outs and the do's and do not do's for, filmmaking. But ultimately, this is about your voice and telling the story, your specific story, so it's making those decisions, and I think that's going to be very interesting. This video is about how I went from an idea to a film concept, and the thing to understand is just because you have an idea doesn't mean to say you have a film concept yet. When I came up with my idea, I was walking across a car park and I was listening to some music. It was the Westworld soundtrack. It was a Dr. Ford track on the album. And I was listening to that, and as usual, you get lots of images in your head. And I saw an image of two people in a room. Something happens between them that changes one of those people, and it changes their life forever. And I got the whole sense of the emotion, the look and the feel, and it had great significance. And that was my starting point. And I just want to also add that one of the things about making a feature film is when you have that as your inspiration, and if that does end up in your film, the aim is to get the audience to react the same way to that moment in time as when you first had the idea in your head. Okay? Now, we come up with ideas in lots of different ways, but that's how I came up for an idea for this film. So what I do is what I did then is what I always do. I run off and I let it formulate in my mind for a couple of months, just, thinking about it, feeling it, getting all the emotions right about it, and let those emotions conjure images, listen to a lot of music that reminds me of those emotions. And I look at the actual vision itself, the idea itself, and what I saw, what was happening, the time of day, the setting, and it starts to formulate something that becomes a film idea. What I do is I write it down. I said before, it's good to start with a pen and pad. Yeah. So first of all, I came up with a title, and I originally just called it Nothing Else. That was the original title of my film. It doesn't matter if it's going to be the final title or not. It's good just to kind of start with the idea. I changed the title as I worked on the project. The second thing I put down was the genre. You got science fiction, you got thrillers, romance, comedies, westerns, and then you've got subgenres in science fiction, for example, or thrillers. You've got the investigative thriller. You've got the conspiracy thriller. It's important to know, what happens in a genre film, because a genre film will give you a set of beats in your story structure to carry out. And then in that, you've got different tropes, these different ideas, these different things that will happen that make that film uniquely that genre. For example, if I was to say, oh, do you want to come out tonight and watch a romance? You might be like, well, I'm not too sure, because, do I really want to watch a film where two people can't get together and one of them's in love and has got to earn the other person's love, and then they try it but realize that they're really a jerk, so they've got to stop being a jerk and show them that they're not a jerk and they can be loved, and the other person realizes they can be loved, but then something goes wrong, they feel betrayed and they split up, and then in one big huge show of an expression of love, that person goes and wins the other person over, and at the end they're together. That's all the kind of beats you'd find in the romance. We all kind of know that, okay? So it's important that when you're kind of putting your genres together for your film, if you're making a genre film, and I am, a multi-genre film, cross-genre film, it's important to know those beats and how they work, and all the little tropes, all the ideas. Because in my idea, it was in someone's flat, it was late at night, so that's darkness, so he's discovering something, was he looking for something, investigating something, possibly, great, that's what I love, mystery, it's in the night, oh, wait a minute, he's affected by what's going on in the world, and he's disenfranchised. Does that mean like he's, this is a noir, is he going into all the depths of the human condition in order to solve the mystery. So, all these things started coming in. It's a science fiction as well, because ultimately I need science fiction to tell the story. If you took the science fiction out, you couldn't tell the story. So that's kind of what's very important when you're kind of selecting genres. So I got my genres as well. So we're going to go from genre and start looking at setting. The setting is a story world where this story can take place in the most effective way. So the setting of this is modern day London, because it kind of reflects a lot of the issues that we are going through as a society. It is about a person dealing with some things in their community, because obviously whatever we believe, let's say either socially or politically in a large way, affects us as individuals as we interact with other members of our own community. So keeping it on a community level lets me explore an urban aspect of the story. It keeps things very grounded, so the more extreme things have a more of a realistic impact on the audience. And also I can keep it cheap. So my story world is very much set in today's world, and it's set, in a community where people are taking it upon themselves to do certain things. Theme. Now, theme is incredibly important in making a feature film, at least to me. Now, some people will just write something and maybe discover the theme later. I tend not to do that. I know what the theme is about from the moment I start the ideas. And even though that theme might have to be tweaked, it is brilliant to know the theme straight away, because the theme, it was John Truby, I think, who said, theme is what the author's view or idea of the world is, okay? It's their perspective of what the world is. And that really is the key for you to have your voice telling the story in a way that no one else does, okay? And theme allows you to unite every aspect of the film. The character's goal and the character's challenges, how the protagonist attacks the hero and tries to stop the hero, and also the flaw that the hero has in order to overcome to attain their goal. Okay, because film is character, plot, and theme. Okay, and also the story is how a hero overcomes their flaw to achieve their goal. And it's those things that theme can intertwine and bring together in a very brilliant way that gives a far much more satisfying and rounded film, at least in my opinion. And I'm not saying you have to do that for every film. This is just the way I approach it. Budget's really important. Now, if I was going to just write a script, I think to myself, okay, I'm just going to write, let's say a drama. I'm just going to write a drama, and it's only going to have around 5 characters in there, be made for, let's say under 10 million or something like that. So as long as I keep to that, write an urban drama, that'll be fine, okay? And you could usually write that, find people to fund it, and then they'll budget it up, and then you kind of adjust the script maybe on how much you can sell that script for, or what your script is worth to an audience, or what your script is worth to a studio, because they think it's worth to its target audience and beyond. However, when you're making a no-budget film is different. You can't really start writing the film until you know how much money you've got and what resources you've got. So it's a waste of time me saying, oh, my main character drives off in a Lamborghini and flips it because I'll never be able to afford it. But it even comes down to little things like, oh, how many lights have I got? Who do I know as a friend that has access to, a hall, or has access to a factory, or, a hospital. These are the type of things you have to be careful when you're writing them, because there's nothing worse than writing a no-budget film and you finish it and then you realize you can't shoot it. The whole point of writing a no-budget film is to make a film yourself. When I was younger, I was very naive, because this is my 10th screenplay. And when I first started out, one of the first films I ever wrote was a blockbuster. It would have cost millions, hundreds of millions to get it made. And I really thought I could just stroll in and slap it on someone's desk, and someone goes, hey, this is an amazing idea. This is a fantastic script. I tell you what, I don't know you. I don't know your track record, but because of this script, I'm going to let you direct it. You can tweak it and write it however you want it. In fact, you have creative sole say of this whole entire project, and we're going to give you the money to make it, and we just know it's going to be great. That's absolute rubbish. It doesn't happen. That's not true. And I went through a process where I came to understand that I had no evidence whatsoever that not only could I make a feature film and hold an audience's attention for an hour and a half, but also, there's no evidence of me recuperating money back on a project where people invest in it, because film is a very expensive and very high risk investment. So the whole point of making a no-budget film is to not be held back by any of those considerations. Yes, you make sure the script gets some professional feedback to make sure that you are still telling a story that's worthy to be told. But at the same time, if you know that you can afford £10,000, that's not going to kill you, that's not going to make you destitute, that's not going to put you out in the street or get you arrested, then make your film. If you can make it for £5,000, get it done. If it's a great story, why not? Do it, and people have done it. Some of the biggest filmmakers in the world, Christopher Nolan, his first film that went to festival cost less than £10,000. He was called Following, and he made that film. Shane Carruth made Primer. It actually got into cinemas, made for less than £10,000, or $10,000. $10,000. Oren Peli, Paranormal Activity, the same thing. Changed his house, cost him $10,000, or under $10,000. And we all know Paranormal Activity. Now, I'm not saying my film is going to achieve that kind of level and height, because all those films happened at a certain point in time. El Mariachi, Robert Rodriguez making the film El Mariachi for $7,000. That's the one that broke the mold to say, you can do it with what you have and make a success. Things are very different now with the distribution chains and how things happen digitally and SVOD and stuff like that, But getting it as a calling card to establish yourself at festival level, or on a smaller digital distribution level, is very viable. Even if it doesn't make you a household name, it can have a significant impact for you if you go about it in the right way, which I'm hoping to do. Which comes down then to the last bit, the last part of jotting everything down on a pad, changing your idea into a concept. It's the log line. Now, what is a log line? A log line is a small paragraph of 1 or 2 sentences that explains your film succinctly and clearly, and it still has a sense of irony, a hook that gets someone interested. That when you say these 2 sentences, someone goes, oh, I wouldn't mind watching that film, or goes, oh, I don't think I like the sound of that film. They get a clear idea of it. And the great thing about it is you can use it for marketing, and you can use it for keeping yourself on track to tell your story. Because if you can tell your story in a very simple way, in those two little lines, then you've got a film concept. If people get a sense of the conflict and the issues of the story within those 2 lines, you've definitely got a film concept. Okay. Whether it's brilliant or not, you have to test that with feedback, and that's exactly what I did last year. You have to get feedback on log lines. Now, mine's still being tweaked. It can take a very long time, but when you're first starting out, it's good to get that sense of idea. This is a breakdown of my feature film, and it starts with the title. The title is The Next Way, and then the genre: science fiction, thriller, investigative thriller, noir, fantasy. The setting is London, modern day London and Greater London. Then the theme. The theme is the use of knowledge. I know the budget. £15,000 is the goal. And then the log line. To win back his online audience, a lonely and unjustly vilified paranormal vlogger risks his life to investigate a series of ritual murders. Whilst lying to the police and running from a secret cult, he discovers the murder suspect is not only the proof of his paranormal work, but the personification of his beliefs, hopes, and desires. So there you go. I've gone from idea to film concept, and now I've got something to work with to take me forward in making my film. And I know I've got the groundwork now to start building the world and the characters and the scenario before I write the script. So I hope you found that interesting. That's what I did. So next time, join me for where we're talking more about the story world and the characters and things like that, and all the things like treatments and beat sheets I did before starting on my script. I hope that's been useful if you're into filmmaking, or if you're about to do the same thing yourself, or you're trying to do the same thing yourself. Let's just get off our butts and get it done. Until next time, keep cool, and I'll be back soon. Thanks.